Here's the reframe that unlocks Photoshop. It isn't the whole toolbar or 1,000 buttons. It's a handful of moves learned once then repeated. One Skillshare class turns that fear into real fluency project by project. 102,000 beginners have opened it, and remarkably for 10 hours kept going. This is Adobe Photoshop CC, Essentials Training taught by Daniel Scott, an Adobe certified trainer. 91 lessons, just over 10 hours. It starts at absolute zero, nothing assumed. Here's the plan: layers and light plus the built-in AI, masking and cutting anything out, type, effects and retouching, then the verdict and who should skip it. Every tool in Photoshop rests on one quiet idea: everything is layers. Each element sits on its own transparent sheet of glass, 4 of them stacked here: a background, a subject, some type, an adjustment on top. Move one, and the others stay put. Then the color floats on top. Levels, vibrance, and hue each live on their own adjustment layer above the photo. Drag a slider and the whole look changes, yet the original pixels underneath are never touched. Which means in this class you can ruin nothing. One click of the little eye hides a layer, and you're instantly back to the untouched original, the safety net sitting under every technique that follows. So Chapter 2, who's actually teaching you? Daniel Scott, an Adobe certified instructor. That's the credential Adobe itself hands out, so he teaches the software the way Adobe certifies it should be taught, from the ground up, nothing skipped. And his method is the smart part. It's project-based, never tool by tool. You build real postcards, posters, and composites, meeting each tool when the project needs it. Files included, so you follow along click for click. Which is why the course teaches moves, not menus. Most march through every panel. This one sets a real task, then reaches only for the tools that finish it. You learn by making. Chapter 3, what's inside? Inside, it's just over 10 hours across 91 lessons in 4 clear blocks. Layers and color first, then type, cropping and masking, then filters and effects, and finally retouching, output, and the updates. And 91 is a big number, so the ordering helps. Most lessons run under 10 minutes each, finishing one real technique. Removing a background, selecting fine hair, running text along a path, an image in a bottle, retouching, exporting. Watch straight through in order, or dip in for the trick you need tonight. And the headline feature is real AI built right in. A whole lesson on generative fill. Describe what you want in words and it's painted onto its own layer. Now the tour. So the everyday repairs first. A flat gray photo lands on the table. Level stretches its tones until the blacks are black and the whites are white. Vibrance brings tired color back to life without going cartoonish, and hue swaps one color for another. A red shirt turned blue in a click, 3 sliders, and a lifeless photo wakes up. Then the class throws open the door on artificial intelligence. Draw a rough selection on your scene, type a few words for what belongs there, a small island say, and Photoshop paints brand new pixels to fill it, match to the light on their own editable layer. Select it, describe it, and it simply appears. A year ago this was pure science fiction, and here it's taught patiently from scratch. Now for the part that makes Photoshop feel like magic, cutting things out, the meatiest stretch of the class, and easily the most useful skill you take away. And it starts with a single click. Quick select and remove background, read your subject, and drop the busy backdrop straight to transparency. The person stays perfectly crisp, while the background simply vanishes. What used to take fiddly minutes now takes about a second. But the real pro move is the layer mask. Instead of erasing anything, you paint visibility itself in black and white. White reveals, black conceals, and gray feathers the join. Nothing is ever destroyed, so every edge stays fixable next year. And then comes the moment nearly every beginner dreads: hair. Select and mask with refine edge, reaches into those wispy strands and grabs them one by one. Get the hair convincingly right, and the cutout instantly stops looking like a cutout. That honestly is the whole trick. Next, the class turns to type. And type that bends to your will. Set a plain line of words, then warp it into an arch. Run it neatly around a full circle to build a badge or a stamp, or send it flowing along any curved path you care to draw. The words simply follow the shape you give them, which is exactly how logos, posters, and stamps are really made. Then come the layer styles, where flat text gains real weight. A stroke wraps a crisp, clean outline around every letter. A drop shadow lifts the whole word off the page. A bevel adds a polished, three-dimensional edge. And a mask can even tuck that type neatly behind your subject so it weaves into the scene. Flat words in, fully designed type comes out. Now the genuinely fun section. A whole run of lessons carefully recreates the looks you've scrolled past 1,000 times. The Spotify duotone, the gritty halftone poster, a convincing oil paint filter, a soft vintage matte, faux motion blur, layered paper cuts. each one reverse engineered step by patient step until you can make it on demand. And then the portrait retouching work. You'll learn to smooth skin without hitting that plastic waxy look. Brighten tired eyes just a little, whiten teeth by a shade, not 10, and clear up red eye in a few seconds. The secret the class keeps repeating is restraint, every fix dialed back until the face still reads as a real person. Believable, never overcooked. All of it builds toward the signature project, an island sealed inside a glass bottle, warping, blending, and masking a whole scene until it looks photographed right there. As he puts it, any good Photoshop user should know how to put an island in a bottle. Then the class works hard to make it truly believable. Smart objects keep the composite re-editable so you can change your mind later. And a realistic cast shadow anchors the object firmly to the ground, because in the end, shadows are what your eye actually believes. And finally, you ship it. Artboards to lay pieces out, RGB versus CMYK explained plainly, 300 dpi for print and export presets for web and social made correctly and saved exactly right for wherever it's going. Now the verdict. So, does it actually deliver? 99% of students said the class met or exceeded their expectations, and a full 78% said it flat out exceeded them. And on the most liked board, the clear winner is the teacher himself. Engaging teacher tops the list with well over 2,300 votes. Clarity, helpful examples, organized lessons, and actionable steps all cluster right behind it. 10 hours that apparently pass easily. And that top spot matters most in a 10-hour class. A dull instructor and you quit around lesson 20. Engaging teacher on top says you'll actually reach the end, which leaves one last question. So who's it really for? 3 people. The nervous first-timer who's never opened Photoshop. It assumes nothing. The self-taught patcher who knows 3 tools and fakes the rest. And the side hustle maker building their own flyers and product shots. Already a pro? You can comfortably skip it. Because underneath all the layers, the masks, and the 91 separate techniques, the whole class quietly keeps making one and the same promise. You can make that now you actually know how. Whatever image once stopped your scroll dead, the badge, the composite, the retouch. It's now just a handful of deliberate moves that you personally own, and that's a genuinely different feeling. Which brings us at last to the final verdict. So then the verdict, worth the full 10 hours, easily. You walk away able to enhance, cut out, mask, set type, retouch, and composite. The entire beginner toolkit from an Adobe certified trainer who clearly loves teaching it. It's included with a Skillshare membership and there's a free trial, so the whole course can cost you nothing. One last thing before you go. And please don't go hunting around searching for it. Just click the link down in the description. It takes you straight inside through Skillshare. Then open Photoshop yourself and go make something. I'll see you in the very next review.